Are you and your hockey player frustrated about limited ice time? You think, man, I'm doing everything I possibly can. They're doing everything they can, but they're just not getting the ice time. What in the world do they need to do? And you may even think, what's wrong with the coach? Why isn't the coach noticing all the hard work? Why isn't the coach noticing everything they're putting in? Why isn't the coach playing them during crucial game situations? Have you said that before? Has your kid said that before? Well, if you have, you're not alone. To listen in today, because I'm going to share with you the number one tip that might be holding your kiddo back, and most importantly, what to do to fix it. Stay tuned and be sure to share this with somebody you know could benefit as well. It's time for another empowering episode of the Warrior Confidence Hockey Podcast. Are you ready to stand out, get noticed, and earn more ice time? Then buckle up that chin strap, because this is where confidence is built, respect is earned, and leaders rise. Let's get at it. Great Inch champions, welcome to the Real Rich Grogan Warrior Confidence Hockey Podcast. I'm your host, Master Coach Rich Grogan. Truly grateful you're here today. And hey, listen to that intro. You heard it. It's all about what I always talk about, how to get more ice time. And why is that so important? Well, your kid works hard. You're working hard as a parent supporting them. You're doing everything you can. But oftentimes we're missing those key little details, those little components, those little pieces that are going to help escalate your kids' ice time, help them get noticed, help them gain the coach's trust, help them get what they want, more ice time, more leadership roles, more opportunities to succeed. I mean, that's why we play the game, right? That's why we go to these early practices or late night practices. Well, coming from as a player, parent, coach, martial artist, man, I've been around the game for over 50 years, been a martial artist for 40 plus years. So what I've done is I've tried to weave everything together here, give the best of all the worlds to help you get what you and your kiddo wants the most. Well, let's start with first things first. And this is the right hook of reality. You know this, but this is a reminder. Ice time is earned. It's not given. And you might be saying, yeah, I know that. I know it's earned. I know it's not given. So I want to ask yourself this first. If you were the coach, would you give your kid more ice time? Have they worked hard enough? Have they proven themselves in practice, in games, in the locker room? And you may not say, well, I'm not in the locker room. I don't see and understand what goes on. Ask them. And that's why I'm going to be really transparent, and I'm going to hit you with some right hooks of reality. And, you know, some parents don't always like that, but I'm coming from the heart here, man. I'm going to give you everything that I've seen over, like I mentioned, the past 50 plus years around the game of hockey, 40 plus years in martial arts, working with kids and athletes and parents and coaches for, well, it's closing in on 40 years now of coaching as well. I'm going to share with you what I've seen, what I know, and as a coach myself, what I look for players. So go back to the initial question. Would you reward your own kiddo? Are they doing the little extras that they need to do to get noticed? So here's the question I want you to ask yourself and drop in the comments. 1, would I play my son more or my daughter more? Yes or no? And then give a reason why. Then maybe if you wouldn't, give a reason why there as well. Maybe they lack the confidence. Maybe they lack the work ethic or the discipline. Maybe their attitude isn't where it should be. First thing to solving a problem is addressing a problem. And that's where we're coming at you with that right hook of reality. Is a shocker, right? Well, really, no, it's not a shocker. You already know it, but I'm here to hopefully remind you and help you. So my whole goal, by you listen to this, by you taking time out of your busy day, is to get what you want. More ice time for the kiddo. All right. Well, this is episode number 393, and we titled this The Number One Mistake, Holding Most Players Back from Getting More Ice Time. Now, we've covered a couple of those, talking about asking you if you would reward your kid. And that's where it starts, accountability. And a big part of the things I talk about in my books and my programs, anytime I talk to players, talk to parents, accountability is number one. The kiddo is the one that wants the ice time. And of course, as a parent paying for all this and all the time you invest in it, you want your kid to get the ice time. But accountability ultimately lies on the player. They're the ones that have to put in the work. They're the ones that have to impress the coach. They're the ones that the coach has to trust. And I can remember personally when I was younger, and I worked my butt off in practice. Well, not always, but for the most part. And I say that because I thought I was blending in with the crowd, doing just enough. But see, I was always one of the smallest guys on every team I played on. One of the shortest guys, smallest guys, didn't have a whole lot of athletic ability or talent. So I just kind of blended in because I wanted to fit in, right? And a lot of kids do, but I wasn't getting the ice time. I was riding the pine, riding the bench. And I had a coach come up to me once and say, hey, man, I'd love to play you more, but you got to show me more in practice. You got to show me that I can trust you. You got to show me that you're confident enough with the puck that you're not going to turn it over, that you're going to work hard in front of the net. You're going to work hard in the corners. In practice, you're going to go all the way to the line because you got a great attitude. You want to do it, but you almost want to blend in more than you want to stand out. And in order to get what you want, especially being a smaller guy, you got to stand out and get noticed. And kind of mentioned this to my parents. I grew up poor on a farm. So I had farm chores. And when I say farm chores, I'm talking baling hay, carrying hay bales that are heavier than I was at the time, hand milking at 8, 9, 10 years old, a cow. And for those that don't know, cows do not freely give milk. You earn every single drop. And when you earn every single drop, you definitely don't want to spill it. And then other things, carrying buckets of water in the wintertime because the water trough would freeze. You have to break it up with a sledgehammer. So work ethic, I had a great work ethic, but being a little insecure as a kid, and I was very insecure, I wanted to kind of fit in because I wanted to, with the cool kids. Well, a lot of times the cool kids had more athletic ability and talent than I did. They were getting more ice time. They were bigger, taller, stronger, faster than I was. And they would coast. So I'm like, well, I'm just doing what they're doing. Well, I'm telling you, if that's what your kiddo's doing and you see that as a parent, you got to let them know you've got to stand out from the crowd. Now, I already had the work ethic. From the farm, I just needed to apply it. And I needed a coach to tell me. And I'm very grateful that Coach mentioned that. So what did I do? I started standing out, man. Every single drill, I gave it everything I had because I realized it was coming from my dad as well. And he had flat out said, look, you work hard on the farm, work hard on the ice, or we're not paying for you to play anymore. Growing up, like I mentioned, kind of poor, times were tough financially. And hockey is not an inexpensive sport. It's very expensive. So I had the seed planted that I love this game, but this could be, any given time, could be the last time I step on the ice because we may not be able to afford it. And that's when, bang. And kind of funny, I'm talking about this. I got a shirt on that says, flip the switch. That's exactly what happened. I flipped that switch, man. I started giving all I got. Now, was it easy? No, because now I'm starting to stand out and starting to get noticed. But then I got a little bit of a bullying and abuse in the locker room. It'd be like, oh, Richie, who do you think you are? Oh, you're making us look bad. And I'm like, holy cow, I can't win here. And I'm telling you that because that may happen. So that's why you have to keep that communication chain open with your kiddo there. They want the ice time. They got to be willing to work for it. But at the same time, tell them in advance by doing these things and it's not like you're trying to show anybody up. Everything I was trying to do was just to get noticed. I wanted to get noticed because I wanted ice time. I wanted the coach to trust me. So every time I was on the ice, I had in my mind, this might be the last shift I ever get because I know what it's like to sit the bench. And I didn't want to go back to sitting the bench. And as I got older, I kept that attitude and kept that mindset up. And every team I was on, I was always one of the shortest, smallest guys. But gosh darn it, I soon became one of the fastest guys. Now, I'm not telling you this to brag or to boast. I'm just telling you that I had limited athletic ability and talent. I mean, I had some, but size was not there. But I always got rules. Penalty kill, power play, all the special teams late in the games. Why? I gained the coach's trust. And of course, that flipped a switch in my brain. When I start coaching, that's what I'm going to look for. There's always going to be kids that are more talented. And you've heard me talk about this before. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Kind of a motto I've lived by my whole life. And that's the motto I want you to still in your kiddos there. And then ask, when they're in practice, watch them. Ask them, hey, why'd you stop short of the line? Why'd you, when the coach wasn't looking, you kind of coasted? Don't do those things. Because there's an old saying, it's kind of a military term. When the coach isn't when the coach isn't looking, that's when they're watching the most. Yeah. And if we can't trust a player in practice, there's no way in the world we're going to trust him in a crucial game situation. So what's the number one thing holding most kids back? Energy, attitude, body language. I mean, all those kind of work together. And body language, if the coach is talking to you, tell the kid they need to be focused. Have them work with you on that. When you're talking to them, tell them they need to look in your eyes so they fully understand. Therefore, they've got your undivided attention. They know exactly what you're saying. They're looking at you, not distracted by all the surroundings. Put the doggone phone down. Why? You're training them. So when the coach is talking to them, they do that. They look instead of, I know, head down, shoulders forward, slumping. Nobody likes that. It's terrible body language, terrible posture, terrible attitude. That's not a way to gain the coach's trust. Shoulders back, head up. And when a coach talks to you, yes, coach. Working with countless coaches over all the decades have been around the game and coaching, one thing none of us like is when we tell a kid something, we're trying to help them, and then they say, yeah, I know. Well, gosh darn it, if you knew, why'd you do it? So train your kiddos, share this with them, tell them, when a coach talks to you, just say, yes, coach, and move forward. And I get it. As teenagers know everything about everything about everything. And I talk to the kids in the locker room this exact same way that I'm talking right now, kind of sharing this with the parents so you can share this with your kiddo there to help them get what they want most, which is more ice time. And I say, when I was a teenager, I knew everything. And then as I got older, I realized, man, I was an idiot as a teenager. I don't want you to be the same idiot I was. So be humble enough to realize when the coach is talking to you, and a coach has quite a bit more experience, you may not think he's right. You may not always agree, but listen and learn. If anything, I learned a lot from coaches growing up. I had, a lot of good coaches, a lot of not so good coaches, and unfortunately, a lot of bad coaches. And that's just the reality of things. But if you can learn from all of them, you can continue to grow. So what's the number one thing holding most players back? Their energy, their attitude, their body language. Change that. Change their mindset. Have them work hard at practice. Have them stand out and get noticed, especially if they're a smaller player like I was. I sure as heck was not going to get the attention out there being one of the smaller guys. I was dwarfed by everybody out there. You start standing out, you start winning puck battles, you start winning when you're doing killers and when you're doing circles and you're doing line drills and you're one of the first ones to finish every single time. That coach's like, holy cow, why? You're willing to put in the work. Therefore, I can trust you to put in the work in a game as well. Because how you practice, saying I said all the time, in martial arts academy, I always said how you practice, how you perform. I twisted a little bit for hockey. It's how you practice is how you play. You practice hard. You practice with great intensity. You give it all you got. You're going to play the same way. Like flip the switch we just talked about. And this is another example I give to players all the time. I'll actually in the locker room flip the light off, then flip it back on. Well, that gets their attention. Like, well, what happened? I said, what happened when I flipped that light switch on? Oh, the lights came on. Yes, the lights did come on. But the reason lights came on because that energy was already there, built up, waiting to be released. All I had to do was flip the switch. And when I flipped the switch, the power and the energy was there. The lights came on. However, if that power and energy was not there, if it wasn't built up, that stored energy wasn't there waiting for the switch to be flipped, nothing would happen. Like when the power's out and you flip the switch off and on, nothing happens. So if you don't build up that energy in practice, you don't build up that energy preparing by doing your very, very best, winning puck battles in practice, winning face-offs in practice, going all out on drills, skating drills, passing drills, shooting drills in practice, you go to flip the switch in the game, there ain't going to be anything there. There you go. There's another solid tip on how to help your kiddo get ice time. And the last little tidbit, parents, I've talked about this at length as well, and we'll continue to talk about it more on upcoming episodes. Your role is don't go to the coach before you go to your kiddo, meaning hold them accountable. They're the ones. Now, it's a little plug for my book here, How to Get More Ice Time, new release, Amazon bestseller. Thank you to all who've bought a copy. If you haven't, the link is in the description box. You can go to getmoreicetime.com, go right to Amazon, pick up a copy, and then our program, which is based off the book or workbook. Man, oh man, we got a master class, a quick start guidebook, and then the workbook's kind of a complete program. Everything in there is all about helping kiddos take accountability. And one of the things I talk about there is before you go to the coach, and what is another thing? Ask, don't tell. Don't tell the coach, hey, my kid's been working hard. Gosh darn it, they need ice time. That's never going to fly. Ask, hey, what could my kid be doing in order to earn ice time? That's respectful. And that's the coach is going to take it and receive that in a respectful manner. But the whole thing about the program, we got several programs, and the links for the program are in the description box as well. And that is going to help your kiddo get more ice time because it's going to go over all kinds of tips and strategies. But for parents, it's going to be you're asking for clarification and still telling the coach. But at the same time, the program holds the kid accountable to do what they know they need to do. And even if they don't know what they need to do, it's in the book. It's in the program. So pick up a copy if you haven't already. Good? All right. So your homework, parents, I don't want any homework. What are you talking about here, man? Hey, we all got to be in this together. And the biggest homework you have is ask yourself, would I play my kid more? And don't be biased. I know you're your son or your daughter. You want to give more ice time, but have they earned it? And you got to be honest. Got to be honest. Now, if they are putting in the work, they are doing everything, and still they're being overlooked, then politely go to the coach and use the ask, don't tell philosophy and ask, hey, my kid's doing this. He's doing all these extra things. He's reading the books. He's doing the programs. What else would you recommend that he do in order to earn some ice time? There's not a coach alive. Well, I'm sure there's some jerks out there that would have a problem with that, but 99.9% of the coaches would say, hey, I appreciate that. You know what? Have him work on this, this, and this. Show me in practice. And yeah, that's the first step to getting more ice time. As a parent, you've respectfully approached the coach. You haven't put him on the defensive. You haven't been rude. You've asked for clarification. Now everybody is working together. The coach knows that the kid wants ice time. Coach already knows that, but I mean, coach knows that every kid, that's what they want, is more ice time, but they got to earn it. And they got to earn the coach's trust by doing the things in practice, by standing out, by building that energy. So when they flip the switch in the game, when they get on the ice in the game, man, they got all that energy built up. They just flip that switch, baby, and it happens. Now, does that mean they're never going to make a mistake on the ice? No. We're human. We're going to continuously make mistakes. And that's something I talked about at length on other shows. But a champion is not someone who's never failed before. A champion is someone who's failed over and over and over again, but refuses to give up. A champion learns from those mistakes, learns from those failures. They get back up. They fight twice as hard. They go at it. They sit on the bench and develop their hockey IQ by watching the game instead of, oh man, so terrible, I messed up again. Hey, you messed up. Take 5 seconds, breathe in, breathe out, get over it. You know, my youngest son's a goalie. So goalies are meant to get scored on. So when he gets scored on, okay, what could I have done differently? All right, my angle was off. I kept my glove hand down. All right, I got to fix that. Boom. Take a shot of water. I'm back in the game. Because if he keeps dwelling on the mistake or the bad goal or soft goals, which happen, then he's going to let in another one. And now he's going to be thinking about that one. The same thing with your player. If they make a mistake, maybe they're defensemen and they don't have good gap closure, they turn the puck over. All right, learn from it. You may get some bench time because of it. That's how you learn. But when you're on the bench, you're watching. What could I do better? And they get back in the game and prove that they deserve to be on the ice. So now, I know I'm talking to parents and coaches. I realize that most kids aren't listening to my podcast or watching my video blogs. I would love it if they did. So if you found value in this, please share it with them. Listen to it in the car, because I'm essentially telling you the secrets, the gifts on how to get that ice time. And a lot of times I'm saying everything that, if you're a coach listening, which you're already saying, and a lot of parents are already saying the same thing. But if they hear it coming from a different voice, you know how that goes, right? You could say the same thing over and over and over to your kiddo, and it's like they don't even hear a darn thing. And then somebody else says the exact same thing, and they're like, hey, okay, I'll try that. And you're like, what the heck? I've been saying that for years. But that's just that third voice, right? All right. So, hey, thank you so much for tuning in today. New little format with the podcast here. I'm going to shorten them up quite a bit. We're going to go right about 20 minutes is the max and wrap these things up, kind of bite-sized pieces. And we're also going to get my email list going again. So I'm going to be sending out weekly emails with tidbits, little tips to help you as a parent, help you as a coach, but also the whole goal is to share it with the kiddos there in order to help them get what they want most. All right. More ice time. As I mentioned, our program, check it out. The link is in the description box. They want to get more ice time. Simple as $9 for a masterclass video. $9. Come on. And then we got a little order bump there. If you wanted the quick start guidebook, it's a few dollars more. And then if you wanted the whole program, that's a few dollars more as well. And for your team, we're doing this team leadership and accountability system. So that's something, contact me and we'll talk about it. And you can reach out to me or DM me on social media platforms at Real Rich Grogan or right through the podcast app as well. All right. Well, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, ring that bell on podcast platforms. Man, we love those 5-star reviews. It helps rate us higher in the search engines so more people can find us. And most importantly, if you found value in this, share it with someone else that you know could find value, and make sure you share it with your kiddos as well. So do me a favor. Drop in the comments, give me a thumbs up that you're going to apply this. Give me a thumbs up you're going to share it with your kiddos. Or if you've got some questions, please ask, and I'll do my best to reply back to every comment. All right, everybody. Thank you so very much for tuning in. I love you. God loves you. Please share that gift, share that love, have your kids share their gift, because we're all got unique talents, and the world needs those unique talents. Share it. And until we talk again, you get out there and do your best. Be your best as a parent and help grow future leaders. Do your best, and I promise you'll be your very best. God bless you. God bless your loved ones. I can't wait to read your comments, and I can't wait to chat with you again real soon. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye. Thank you so very much for listening to the Warrior Confidence Hockey Podcast. I'm truly grateful for your time. If you found value in today's episode, remember to like, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a teammate, coach, or parent who needs to hear this message. Remember to stay connected throughout the week for daily Warrior Confidence hockey tips across all social media channels at Real Rich Grogan. Parents, if you're serious about helping your athlete earn more ice time and stand out, then be sure to check out our Warrior Confidence Hockey program. The link is in the show notes. And for coaches and organizations, if you're ready to create a stronger team culture, eliminate ice time drama, and build leaders you can trust, let's talk about bringing Warrior Confidence Hockey to your team. Well, until next time, stand out, earn respect, and lead with integrity, because winning on the ice starts with winning off the ice. I look forward to chatting with you again real soon. Have a blessed day. Parents, are you frustrated seeing your superstars sit on the bench, getting overlooked and passed over for ice time and leadership roles? I personally know that heartbreaking pain. Well, that frustration ends today. Introducing our How to Get More Ice Time program, the amazing one-of-a-kind program for youth and teenage hockey players that helps them get what they want most, more playing time and more opportunities. And today, exclusive offer, we're selling this thing for only $9. $9. It's a no-brainer. But you got to act now, because this offer won't last, and if you don't do anything, nothing's going to change. So go to warriorconfidence.com. That's warriorconfidence.com, or simply click on the link in the description box. Buy the program today and help your child get what they want most, more ice time.